this is Roxann Smithers with Smithers and Ume-Nwagbo. We're here with part 3 in our series, When You're Right, You're Right, Tips to Resolve a Dispute Without Going to Court. We've already discussed documentation and motivation. So our last category is innovation, the tried and true thinking outside the box. These are some strategies or things to think about that are going to help you resolve disputes, often for less or in a very efficient and expedited manner. The first one I like to call a check in hand beats 2 in the mail. What that means is, particularly if you are the party in the dispute who is ultimately going to be making a payment, that you are prepared at every occasion that you're discussing the dispute to actually make whatever payment or whatever offer you're going to make available right then. If you're meeting for negotiations amongst the parties, have the checkbook ready, have the accounts payable department ready to cut a check to that person to resolve that dispute. You'll often find that if you are ready to resolve it that day and people have the prospect of walking out of a meeting with you with a check in hand, they'll be willing to accept less to resolve that dispute. The other thing that you want to think about is what I like to call business math. That's not just understanding the value of your claim. For example, a claim that's worth $100,000. That's also understanding how much you'll have to pay in both legal fees and man hours and other resources and time away from your business to resolve that dispute and get that $100,000 claim. So if it costs you $30,000 in attorney's fees and man hours and time and attention to get $100,000, then your business math shows that you're only netting $70,000. And if you understand your net, then you can look at settlement offers and resolution with a clear head. So maybe that $60,000 offer from the opposing party isn't as insulting as you originally thought it was. Business decision math. Another strategy is shock and awe. This can mean coming into the situation with your initial demand, putting all of your facts and evidence and support for your position on the table immediately. The idea is that you want to overwhelm the other side with all of the information and evidence that you have to support your position. It can help them to understand that, one, you're serious about your claim, you have thought through your claim, you've developed your claim, and that you've got the evidence to support your claim. Remember, the best way to win is to have a strong offense. Another thing that I always suggest to clients and make as a rule in my representation is I do not make idle threats. If you have ever had that experience of a parent threatening to punish you and then they don't do it, then it makes it harder to reinforce that threat the next time around. So, if you're not in a position to move forward with legal action, you're not in a position to move forward with any other consequences, I don't recommend that you bring those consequences up or those threats up to an individual unless you are prepared both mentally, financially, and administratively to move forward with those threats. I always tell opponents that I don't make threats. I simply give information about what I plan to do next. And that has a wonderful effect when you're trying to resolve a dispute. Finally, think creatively when you're looking for a resolution of a dispute. Really dig down to understand, again, the motivation of everybody in a situation and tailor a resolution that really gets to the real root of the issue. Oftentimes, even when dealing with business disputes, there are personal hurt feelings, there are other bruises to reputation when a dispute occurs. And so if there are things that can be done to assuage hurt feelings or to repair a reputation or to repair a perceived slight in the business community, take those things into consideration and offer those as an olive branch to help resolve the dispute. These are the types of things that you want to think about to innovate in disputes in order to avoid going to the courthouse. And these have been the 3 tips for winning. Once again, that's documentation, motivation, and innovation. And this is Roxann Smithers with a note from my legal pad. To learn more about the attorneys with Smithers and Ume-Nwagbo, you can visit us on Facebook, LinkedIn, our YouTube channel, as well as stulawgroup.com.